Chat, kama kuna studio iko na animations zingine kali ni animations zingine kali. Kuna animation una passion for the projects bana, ni MAPPA Studios. Hii shida yao ni kosa kuachilia. Ni better sawa kwenda home kuvisit their families. Hiyo ndio itakuwa tu shida yao moja, lakini that is a binding vow that has to be made for the peak animation that JJK is. Sasa it is a worthy sacrifice. Title of the video ni studio that broke the internet. Studio that broke the internet. Let's lock in.
MAPPA are the gold standard of anime. Think what LeBron is to basketball, or Disneyland to amusement parks, or Makima to mommies. And
Hold on. Haija realize nini inafanyika. Wacha catch up. Aya. Something about Makima being a mommy, or a mommy being a Makima.
There are a ton of great studios out there, and people would debate between which studio was the best. From
Hold up. In it, itakuja kunisumbua tu hivi forever. Does it want me to die? No, does it genuinely want me to die? Shida yake ni gani? Shida yake ni gani? No, for real. On a very serious note, shida yake yuko gani? Because there is no way.
Versus Period to Madhouse versus Bones.
Studio Period, Studio.
Fucking Pink Pineapple versus Bunny Walker. But first.
Whoa. I have a feeling like Pink Pineapple ni more edgy stuff. The Guna anime, the goonery and the level of goonery that Guna anime that studio produces. Get DM it. It's crazy. I'm gonna have to pause it like this to catch up.
To be universally recognized as the GOAT by literally every type of fan is a clear sign that
having this as an image, ya hold on MAPPA, being considered the GOAT, it's crazy. It's insane. It's pissing me off because the internet is still not working the way I want it to work. Wait. Set play.
Something fishy is going on here. I mean, definitely. Come on, guys. It's Japan. It's anime. 100% chance somebody's being worked to death here.
Absolutely.
I am so sorry.
Whoa.
But think, despite the fact that everyone knows how terrible a studio they are, it doesn't matter because the product is so great. Every mangaka is coming to kiss the ring and pray to Daddy Otsuka for a good adaptation. More on this demon later. To put into context how dominant MAPPA has been, they produced all of this in just 5 fucking years. Now for context, it took Severance 4 years to come back. It's been 4 years in between Spider.
Accuracy by volume. You can never go wrong with that strategy. So the only time you can go wrong is if your country allows laws for borderline slavery. But if it does, you can never go wrong with accuracy by volume. You can shoot 1 shot and miss, and you can shoot 100 shots and hit 5. Your choice is yours. The choice is indeed yours. That's Studio Period. Studio sijui Bones, sijui Spider-Verse imetext you know how many years kukurudi. Hizo vitu zote does not matter when you have accuracy by volume. Am I tripping, Chad? Yes. Let me adjust my TikTok clip maker. My automatic TikTok clip maker. Just about there. Leave it space for me writing the. Am I tripping? But then 27 ndo unione Spider-Verse. Hiyo siku nakuwa very focused on maandamano na kula pesa za campaign.
movies, and it's been 10 years since One Punch Man came out. Truthfully, this video was supposed to be a
One
shitpost of
one
Mappa's
frame,
story,
man.
but the more I researched, the more dystopian it felt. So, here's what we have to do. We're gonna dive deep into how Mappa rose to power so quick, and honestly, I went into this thinking it was simply a skill diff. But instead, what I found was a story that watched more like a mobster's uprising, with people being backstabbed, corporations conducting dirty business, and you guessed it, billions of dollars worth of malpractice. So let's dive into the beginning of this story with someone who had pure intentions but got hurt the most. Maso.
Hold on. You want to tell me kutakuwa na controversy na corporate fraud? $2 an hour. $2 an hour is a lot of money when it comes to Kenya, but damn. $2 an hour ni kama ruwabi per day. But when you're living in an economy that requires you to spend like $5 an hour, that is still being that is pure theft.
Maruyama founded MAPPA on June 14th, 2011, but that is not where his story starts. Where it really begins is the 60s, where he worked at Mushi Productions, which is where anime really got started, with Astro Boy. You know, the anime.
Bro worked in the studio that started Astro Boy. He was there in the beginning of anime, and you expect him not to be the GOAT. What do you mean? You expect him not to be the GOAT when he was there when anime was being born? This has to be a skill diff.
All the old heads won't shut the fuck up about, touted as the first anime and the first to introduce basically every trope in the medium. And Mushi Studios at that time was just known as the leaders of the medium in pretty much every capacity, constantly creating new and creative ways to do things. And
the funny thing about animation, I keep forgetting, and every time I see a video about animation, ndashinda nikikumbushwa. It is drawn pictures by hand. Ni mtu tu anakaa chini anachora. Mtu anakaa tu chini anachora alafu frame by frame. So between here and here is like 15 frames. There's 15 different pictures. Nah, you have to be trolling. You generally have to be trolling. What? That is a skill. The way it takes me a very long time to draw.
Literally creating technology in order to bring their visions to reality. So after learning all he could at the birthplace of anime, Maruyama would go on to co-found a little old studio named Madhouse.
I bet you thought I was gonna say MAPPA, you fucking idiot. No goofy. But it is a studio that you should know. Studio that produced things like Freerin and One Punch Man.
I knew it.
But I know what you're sitting there,
Oh,
fat
One
asses
Frame Man.
eating your food. Those aren't even that popular. Nobody knows who does ours. Well, Chunks, calm down. Because Maruyama and Madhouse put belt to fucking ass on everyone from the 80s to the 2000s. Hunter x Hunter, No Game No Life, Death Note,
No Game No
High
Life.
School DxD, Parasite, Trigun, Black Lagoon.
So I know who exactly I should go for when I want my new game No Life Season 2. I know exactly who I should go and ask. Because it's been too long. I need me that Season 2. Damn it.
Hajime no Ippo, Paprika, Perfect Blue. This is fucking Thanos. This is the fucking LeBron James. Maruyama-sama? Nah, fuck all that shit. He is him.
The GOAT.
Sama, to
Death
be
Note.
exact.
But why did our GOAT leave? Well, unfortunately, Nippon Television ended up buying more and more ownership of the studio, and they became the primary decision maker over the Madhouse team. And much like any time investors get into things, the product ends up changing, but not necessarily for the worse. Across any industry, there comes a time when companies and creators need outside money in order to bring whatever their thing is to the next level. But
You
then
need that
the cycle
money.
repeats over and
You need that
over until your own
investment,
company isn't even your own company anymore. For example, when the YouTube channel Veritasium sold, they went from making a lot of fun random YouTube videos to super optimized videos that have guaranteed success. In other words, it doesn't mean a downgrade in quality, but most of the time it means a downgrade in innovation. In the case of Madhouse, they went from producing a
become
lot of
flanderized.
creative films like Perfect Blue and Paprika to very normal and traditional
Flanderized.
anime projects. Now, for a lot of business execs, it's pretty safe to say they only really give a fuck about money, which
Yes.
fair enough. Say you got a
mean,
big
it's
manga
money.
you want to adapt, or a well-known light novel, or a big name director. Well, that sounds like we're gonna make a whole lot of fucking money to me. But when it comes to those like creative experience, you know, that little artsy bullshit y'all got going on over there, we gonna have everyone in the office throw 5 and y'all can see what you come up with. So Pretty safe to say, Madhouse at this point was just being force-fed the most basic adaptations, and after Maruyama saw his kingdom fall, well, and not really fall, they're doing really well even to this day, but Maruyama, he had enough. He set out to start his own company.
So basically aliquit job yake kwa sababu hakukuwa na innovation, hakukuwa na fun projects, ndi zile zenye exact timeline. I need this popular manga that has the most sales to be given an adaptation to even make more sales, the guaranteed eyes on it. Always kuwa na fun project yenye ina a lot of manga sales. Hata kama it's a good story, ina manga sales, most likely your studio ita pick up. Interesting.
A company focused on creativity, a company focused on art, a company focused on fair, really fair working conditions. And he called it Maruyama Animation Produce Project Association, otherwise known as
MAPPA Studios.
No, not the MAPPA you're thinking of. It's important to remember that getting into the anime industry is
That edit got me though, I won't lie.
incredibly difficult. So it was going to take a lot of time for MAPPA to get the same respect as the other studios from producers, but not artists. When it first got off the ground, it really was living up to the promise of being this hotbed for artsy people to spend a lot of time and
It's like wanapatia a way out for new artists for the art. I have a feeling if I don't become careful, I'm gonna become too much focused on the admin and focus on the art, the story, the beauty, the soul.
money on their artsy bullshit. Like Terror and Renaissance or Resonance, I have no idea how the fuck to say that. Punchline, Garo. These are all honestly really cool from the little bit I've checked them out. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't check them out that much, but they're there. But you still have to remember, at this point, Maruyama had a seasoned career. And I mean, this guy is literally him. All they needed was one hit. One hit to justify all that experience and claims, and this studio would hang with the best. One anime to prove Maruyama was right. And when that anime came with a title that I think will shock you. The title was Yuri on Ice.
There's an anime for everything these days. Yuri on Ice, I have never heard of it. Nimesikia leo.
For us young bloods, I gotta let
Yeah, Yuri on Ice. I'm pretty sure there's an anime for everything. This is the only medium or the only type of medium that focuses and gives you the type of hype you need to pick up a random sport that you have no idea what happens. I've never seen a movie about ice skating. Well, I have, but they're usually boring and more focused on the drama. I'm pretty sure this one is making the ice skating thing a full-on ranked mode. We're gonna explain the intricacies, the beauty, what makes somebody a better ice skater than at the end of the anime. I'm at the end of the show. By the time you're easily reaching the halfway, unazaelewa the intricacies and the intimacies of any show. It's like me and volleyball and IQ. I have never had an idea on how to play volleyball, but at least I have an idea when I watch a volleyball game because I've watched IQ. The rules are explained for so well, and the techniques are explained so well, to a point that many saying pick up volleyball and watch volleyball baka iishe. The beauty of anime. The beauty. Show me Netflix pulling off something like this. This is literally a cooking show, tennis show. Kuna ingine fulani, kuna yenye nimeona ni they just sit down and tell a story. And that's the whole anime about that's the whole premise of the anime. Sasa like nile nikaa mchongoano ama kuja kufanya tu performance. Na ile performance fulani yenye umekuja una sport or you're limited to a few na inafanya ikue kama the animation is going crazy. It's better than one frame, man. Anyway, let's hear you.
let y'all know. Old heads, they don't play about Yuri on Ice. It was the first anime to win Anime of the Year at the first ever Crunchyroll award show, and Yuri on Ice still has one of the biggest cult followings all the
Really? The first ever Crunchyroll Anime of the Year award went to Yuri. So I must definitely check it out then. On episode review coming up.
years later. And while this seems like everything MAPPA needed, Instead, it turned into Maruyama's worst nightmare. Because with all of his prior achievements and success, once he achieved independent success, they basically got so much inbound that the objective correct decision for anyone with a fucking brain to make was get investment and scale and become one of the biggest animation studios in the game. So what do you think Maruyama did?
Put
A,
in money.
take the money. B, reject the money. C, ask for a different amount of money. Or D, kill all capitalists and fucking blow up the universe.
Ooh.
Well, the answer is actually E. Leave your own company again. Maruyama saw the path MAPPA was going on, and he just said, this ain't me. I'm not doing this fucking bullshit again.
By the way, something I should mention is this guy's in like his 70s doing this shit. He's really on like...
He's just quitting his job for the love of the game at this point. For the pure love of the game. It's like you guys are not, you do not get the vision. You want commercial success, but you're not seeing the vision. You have to see the vision. I am 70 years old. I am Master Ugwe. Thou must listen to me. Must listen you. You listen you must. For old I is.
Some fucking syphilis type shit. That's my fucking go. Someone must imagine syphilis happy. Fuck syphilis. Maruyama would get that fucking rock over.
Wait a minute. Is he referring to Sisyphus as syphilis? The guy with that pushes the rock up to the top of the hill, then it goes down, then he's tired, then he gets enough strength to push it, just enough to be right there. Then it's Sisyphus, you bozo.
The hill because he's the fucking goat.
But as much as I'd like to say Maruyama leaving would be the downfall of MAPPA, well, for one, no fucking shit, that's not the case, otherwise there wouldn't be a fucking video. The company got handed over to Manabu Otsuka, who has notoriously complained that Yuri on Ice didn't make a fucking profit. Yes, our goat is definitely gone. Now, Manabu's fucking bitch ass been riding our goat's coattails for as long as I can remember. He was with them at Madhouse during their run, and for whatever reason, our goat, so gracious, brought him on as co-founder of MAPPA, and the entire fucking time he wanted to scale, which really doesn't make any fucking sense why our goat would bring this fucking asshole in. Our goat would go, yo, let's make a movie on a pencil going back in time to kill Hitler. And Manabu's punk ass would be like, how are we gonna scale the business and make profits? Like, we're artists, not accountants. And also, you look like Mickey Mouse with those giant fucking ears. Anyways, this demon started taking...
I feel like every artistic type of company or creative or whatever, if you are producing things for the art, but you have to look at the commercial success of it as well. You need a great balance of these two. Our extreme geniuses in their own right. Our balance each other out. Because this one wants commercial success. You have to turn a profit. You can't be this popular and you're still broke in his mind. Commercial success is what he's going for. But we have the artist that has been an artist for the longest time. This man is in 70s. It's like, let's just do it for the love of the game. That is part of the business person is like, nah, how am I gonna buy my Ford Lamborghini, you idiot? How am I gonna mistreat people and give them the absolute worst working conditions? I feel like any creative mind, you need a great balance, because you can't fund the thing off of vibes and doing it for the love of the game, but you tend to focus on the commercialization and making bank. You forget that there has to be love and passion for whatever you're doing. Kustrike hiyo balance ndo wapo watu wengi wanapoteanga. Kustrike hiyo balance inakuwa tricky kufanya. That is just a balance that needs to be struck.
Every opportunity he could. In 2017, MAPPA picked up Inuyashiki and Kakigiri. These are two anime that kind of make some noise, but nothing insane. But then, in 2018, they picked up Banana Fish, Zombie Lawn Saga, and they placed further than the universe. Some of which, to this day, have the most, like, diehard and lowkey performative fan bases in anime. I'm looking at you, Banana Fish. Jokes aside, I wasn't joking. Banana Fish is looked at by enthusiasts as one of the greatest anime to never get that much attention. I mean, it has an 8.5 on Mao, but while MAPPA is having that success, and they are still running Maruyama strats and making deeply creative projects, another anime came out that I think it's safe to say completely changed how anime was viewed around the world.
There's still a long way to go, but we've made progress.
Goat!
Every battle we lost taught us us a lesson. Gave us the
This
tiniest
is Loki
inroad
where
towards something like
everybody-
hope.
Attack
this
on
is the-
Titan
This is the Loki, the project that made everybody go like, it was made by MAPPA Studios. It was made by MAPPA Studios from AOT. Anything else that was picked up after AOT, I don't know. People were just yapping. But after AOT, it was season 3. Season 3 or season 4. We'll pick up by MAPPA Studio. So, hapo ndo kila mtu alianza kujua mapa this, mapa that, mapa.
in the 2010s makes what JJK and Demon Slayer are doing now look like fucking child's play. Yeah, the numbers are bigger on JJK and Demon Slayer, but this is from a post-COVID era. Pre-anime Great Awakening, AOT was putting these numbers up in an era where all people thought anime was just fucking hentai.
Which, honestly, for the time, it was kind of true. Even some of the shonen had a lot more freaky stuff in it than they do now. But still, Attack on Titan was one of the
Even the
first
shonen was Guna.
anime to get really major mainstream attention, and it completely propelled Wit Studio as well. I mean, they went on to animate Vinland Saga, and now they're
With the Wheat, I'm still waiting for Wheat Piece. Don't you take too much time with it. 2027 ukijaribu kuipush nakwambia I'm crashing out.
animating Spy X Family, and they're gonna do the One Piece remake. So for Attack on Titan to be their breakout on something that's not like your traditional shonen, it just goes to show that one, Attack on Titan is a banger, and two, they absolutely knocked it out of the fucking park. Anime conventions were filled with this shit. Athletes were tweeting about it. There were full-on stadiums selling out of concerts of the OST. It became the anime where it's like, I don't watch anime, but Attack on Titan. But if you look at the Attack on Titan release schedule, you will notice a 4-year gap in between seasons.
Now remember, Japan is filled with some of the most hungry and ruthless capitalists you can imagine. So what the fuck could have been the circumstances to cause a 4-year delay in their cash cow that was a golden ticket to the West? Now I'm sure if I give you 52 guesses as to what caused the delays and why they
4-year
backed
break.
out, it'd probably only take you 3
That's
to 4.
crazy.
Because it was production issues. The first season of Attack on Titan was 25 episodes, and it came out in 2013, and at that point they adapted chapters at a rate of 1.3 to 2 chapters per episode, which I just want to note, this is completely fucking unheard of at the time. At this point, One Piece and Naruto were adapting at a rate of like 0.4 per episode, but although 34 chapters in one season
During Dressrosa, oh my god, it was absolutely the worst time. That is the worst time
is
ever.
one, pretty fucking sick. What's not pretty fucking sick is
So basically, they created the format of seasonal anime, like the pacing of seasonal anime. Because I mean, I cannot do with the old gen type pacing bana. Baka wa leo nikijaribu kupick up an old anime bana inakuwa issue. I mean, I'm giving them the props because it's MAPPA.
the fact that there were only 50 chapters available. So they needed to go on a bit of a break in that time while the manga got ahead, so they would have enough chapters to adapt. But here's the thing, Wait completely blew up from season 1 of Attack on Titan. I mean, everyone was at their door trying to get them to adapt projects, and the projects they chose were a little strange. In 2015, they dropped an original anime called The Rolling Girls, as well as what was an anticipated shonen called Seraph of the End. Then in 2016, they dropped what was supposed to be another AOT level anime called Kabanari of the Iron Fortress, which was honestly pretty good. It was meant to be like the steampunk AOT, and it
I
has
think I've seen that one. But sijui kama nimeelewa vibaya. Studios can make their own original anime. They do not need to make an adaptation of manga. They can do that. Since when? Have I never? I always assume that every anime that I've seen, every movie that I've seen that is animated by any Japanese studio is just an original piece. Tebu mnitafutie a few of this so-called created by studio original, for lack of a better word, studio original anime.
light novel, manga, and they made a movie on it. But despite being cool, it didn't have the cultural impact they were gunning for. And they were really on the Kabanari train. They claimed they were making a new form of action entertainment. Something they put emphasis on was that they put a significant amount of resources and effort into it. Brother, you just made Attack on Titan. Why are you trying to do... Why? Like, why would you do that? Like... There is times when you should dare to be great and dare to be creative, and there's other times where you should dare to be financially fucking responsible. This was one of those times. I would have gone up to the mangaka of AOT Isayama and been like, hey man, how you feel about an Attack on Titan series, but instead of killing Titans, it's a filler where we kill zombies. At least then they would have been able to make a bag. But long story short, they were trying to break out of being known as the AOT studio, partly because nobody would want to be pigeonholed into anything, and second, because the season 1 production of Attack on Titan was such a living nightmare for the production team. They were saying that they were always behind schedule, they were chasing episode to episode deadlines, and overall, it was hell. So, they're taking out of that hell with fucking Kabanari Fortress. That's what they thought. Kabanari of the Iron fucking Fortress was gonna save them from these scary producers. What? I'm sorry.
Why is
I'm
bro
sorry.
crashing?
I've been dunking on Kabanari this entire video. If this video gets 10k likes, I will make a video on Kabanari Fortress. I do not want to make a video on Kabanari with the Iron fucking Fortress. I'm going crazy. But over the course of season 2 and 3, despite them having some of the most iconic scenes in anime history to this day, we're still not super happy with the project, because when the prep meeting started for season 4, it seemed like a completely new scale, a new direction, and one of the most anticipated moments in anime and manga history. Wit had the opportunity to go to the next level. Wit had the opportunity to become the next Ghibli. Wit said, fuck that shit. No, we're not doing that.
They're like, nah. Which people like, which studio was like, nah, we ain't doing all that again. They're like, nah. They're like, you can take your AOT and shove it all the way up the Attack Titans.
No, I actually really fuck with this type of energy. If you look at all their quotes, they're like, we are insanely proud of our work. We know we have created something extremely revolutionary. Also, we are never fucking doing that shit again. Just know, the Attack on Titan final season, like, pre-planning looked so insane that not only did Wit say fuck no, every other major studio said no, because who would accept something that had so much pressure? Who would accept something that had such tight deadlines? Who would accept something that needed to be perfect? Everyone said no.
With a sole exception.
Except one group of people.
Now, this is not a surprise that Supreme Leader Mananabu would jump
Supreme
at the
Leader.
opportunity to make money and work his employees to the bone, especially on the most anticipated media in the Asian world. But I would like to remind everyone that
The Supreme Leader went on and decided to do it in movie-wise in part 1, part 2, part 2, half part 1, part 2, half part B, part B. But that was, I do not know, I have no idea what was going on there. And I do not want any other anime to come up with that side. Part 1, part 2, part 1, 2B2, 2B2, 3, 2B2A. Yamani.
the negotiations and production
Zonon
of
Part
this
2,
anime
Part 3.
all went down in 2019. Now, if you thought making the final season of
Zonon
Attack on
Part
Titan
4.
on impossible
Season 4,
deadlines was
Part
a hard
1.
enough ask, can you imagine what it would be like to not only make that, but also make the biggest shonen of the modern era at the same time? It's safe to say that MAPPA went from that little
They went
fucking
crazy.
studio nobody knows about
They
to the
went
biggest
crazy.
name in the industry that all anybody can talk about. And once again, reinforcing, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You see, MAPPA is buddy-buddy with the people at Shueisha. These are the people who run most of the IP
Shueisha.
in Shonen Jump, and they run most of the production committees to decide which studios to pitch certain adaptations to. For this, there was no pitch. The people at MAPPA, who undoubtedly use our GOAT Mariyama's connections, got the spot for Jujutsu Kaisen with zero competition. One of the most anticipated manga adaptations ever.
Wanataka Ufotable wafanye hii kazi? Hapana. No. They did the absolutely best job they could have done with it. I have no notes. Keep the corruption going.
Just went straight to MAPPA. Now, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge, despite the horrible working conditions, which we will get into, we should take a moment to mention They absolutely crushed it on this project.
Exactly.
Jujutsu
On
Kaisen Season 1
JJK,
had a level of sauce
especially on
that's
that
really only
big
comparable
brain
to Demon
expansion.
Slayer. And the fact that within 2 months, Jujutsu Kaisen and Attack on Titan dropped with art styles that honestly had not been replicated at that point. Attack on Titan final season felt like it single-handedly pushed camera work and directing in the medium of anime as a whole. This shot of Eren getting pierced by the Jizz Titan is ingrained in my mind. It looks like the Eiffel Tower poking through the city as everyone is running around. And while Attack on Titan is shattering every view record, Gojo has introduced the world to the term husbando, becoming the most thirsted after male character since, honestly, probably since Shrek. All the while,
Girls are
Jujutsu
goonas.
Kaisen Season 1 went on to win 6 Crunchyroll Awards, with one of them being Anime of the Year, and boom, COVID boom
Yes, Anime of
happens,
the
and
Year.
it's in full effect. Anime is the coolest thing on the planet, and MAPPA has become one of the only anime studios that most casual fans even know. So of
Exactly.
course,
For the
given all that
casuals.
success, given all the momentum they had, it would only make sense that MAPPA would go on to commit one of the most unethical but low-key impressively unethical but low-key impressively impressive crimes against humanity. MAPPA forced their team to make a Jujutsu Kaisen movie with some of the best animation in the industry in just 4 months. At the same time as AOT and JJK Season 1. Reminder, it is taking them over 4 years in between Spider-Verse movies. And they made this in 4 months. But when
JJK movie 0. JJK movie 0. JJK movie 0. JJK 0. What's that? JJK 0 was made in 4 months. And they are taking their sweet time. I don't know how many years it's been since I've seen the return to the into the Spider-Verse. I don't know. Miles Morales is on 3. Part 3. So what you're gonna tell me is if we get with the people that are working and give them the absolutely worst, we will have that project out looking as crispy as it needs to be in the shortest time possible. All you have to do is ignore some human rights. I mean, binding vow.
ended up being the worst fact of all is that the movie fucking slaps.
They actually did that in 4 months. I mean, it's not making sense. I don't know. Brody.
You see, JJK Zero was so rushed because it was coming out on Christmas Eve in Japan, and they needed to capitalize on the holiday market. And something to note is another big shonen just dropped. What was the highest earning anime movie of all time 8 months prior, and the expectations were pretty high. But what animator Honhon revealed is that the movie ended up causing a domino effect, leading to MAPPA animators contemplating suicide, publicly fighting against the company, and outright becoming the most overworked people in the history of animation. And this is all because when they turned in JJK
Bro has ringed eyes as of under his ringed eyes. Japanese people are used to those conditions. I mean, we should just make the Spider-Man movie there then. It's taking too long, bana. It's taking too long. Lakini have AOT, JJK, and JJK movie 0 all at once, and they are looking that great. It means we need to get the massa involved. Get me the whips.
K0 for review, the staff was like, holy fucking shit, this is amazing. We gave you poor fucking 4 months. 4 months, and you made a whole fucking movie. Like, y'all really good at what you do. Y'all really different. Y'all deserve to have 2 months on the next one. Now, there is so many quotes from the staff indicating that this single event of them realizing that they could push their staff to this limit created one of the darkest points in the history of the company that is honestly still going on, because the workload doesn't slow down. It 20x's. In 2022, MAPPA dropped Chainsaw Man. And the crazy thing about this story of how they got Chainsaw Man is that they were so badly dying to put their workers to death that they offered Shueisha a one-of-a-kind bid for Chainsaw Man. And I want to take in the note before I tell
What is Zom 100 bucket list of the day? It showcased the first episode very well. I mean, yeah, I've seen Zom 100. I've seen Zom 100. It's also done by MAPPA. That thing is so crispy, so amazing. I don't know, but inafika mahali inaanza slow down. Sio kama ni mangaka ndo wako kuna kitu na set up and take too long. But the first 2-3 episodes, peak.
you the bid. This is at a point where Chainsaw Man manga has like some steam, but it's not even that crazy yet. But in this bid, MAPPA put all of the money forward. They took the entire financial risk for this project so they could get full creative control. That is unheard of in the anime industry. And that same year, they also started producing Vinland Saga.
It's a 100.
Just note, they started producing Vinland Saga at season 2 because in a similar situation to AOT, Wit was creating Vinland Saga season 1 and they were struggling so much internally that the production committee pulled it from them and was like, go take your fucking break, you artsy bullshit fuckers. We have MAPPA. And MAPPA is going to do it, and they're going to do it better. I actually disagree. I think Wit's version was better, but they thought MAPPA was going to do it better, and I think a lot of people...
So let me get this straight. Sasa, let me get this. Leo ni kama naelewa hii story. Kulingana na vile mama ananiambia. Sasa, with studios walikuwa wana slow down na waliambiwa nimfanyie kazi yetu bado tunataka ama tuende tunatafute MAPPA. Na MAPPA at the same time has just done a movie in 4 months. It's doing JJK and it's doing AOT part 1, part 4, part 4B. Part 1, season 4, part 1B, or part 1, part 2, B, C, D. Whatever part D, C, D, whatever it was. Because MAPPA is being, I mean, if I would kill myself. I wouldn't lie.
Think MAPPA's is better. In that same year, they also picked up Hell's Paradise. Now, this is somewhat of a dual production between MAPPA and this company called Twin Engine, but for the most part, all of the creative is left on MAPPA, and we'll get into it later, but Hell's Paradise is also like this fucking middle child of MAPPA that everyone ignores and nobody gives a shit about, and it's also one of the...
Hell's Paradise has a lot of potentials. It needs to be giving that frontline MAPPA treatment. He could split the work na some unknown studio. I hope that studio is pretty well known, but I'm assuming it's some bullshit studio. It is making it not seem as if MAPPA made it, because it lacks that slavery aspect to it. That enslavement of your workers. It miss that beautiful that beautiful minimum wage, suffering and making your let me chill.
Best animated anime out there right now. Yes,
and for minimum
it's
wage,
considered
that's great,
made for
exactly.
MAPPA standards.
Why would we
but
even
you see,
do that?
although they were picking up all these shows, most casual anime fans had no idea what was going on until what I think was the biggest moment in anime history post 2020. And I know that's like exaggeration and everything, but I think this was the moment where everyone realized that anime wasn't a trend. Like, anime isn't like mainstream. Like, anime is the culture.
That makes me glad.
Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 was undoubtedly one of the biggest moments in anime history. You could argue it was the biggest moment in anime history. Every single fight from JJK was going completely viral. Mainstream outlets were tweeting about it. There's been some iconic quotes from this era.
Damn, I used to watch JJK Season 2, finish the episode in sub, go again watch it in dub, go again watch it somebody reacting to it. I had like 4 people reacting to it, 4 go-to reaction video watchers. I think hizo ndio zilipata inspiration ya kufanya hiyo vituko. Hadi mimi ndaanza kufanya react videos. Look out for that. Lakini that's how peak season 2 of JJK was.
That we need to get into, such as animators saying they were only able to achieve 30% of their creative vision with JJK Season 2. This was just a...
And then they went back and redid the Sukuna versus Maharaga fight. Crazy.
Fraction of their power. Like, brother, what? At the same time, there was an animator that tweeted out about being battle, and they got his ass in 15 minutes. Like, in 15 minutes, they made him delete his side post, which is, like, fucked up, but also, like, do they have CIA level power? What is going on here? There was also a slew of animators that came out talking about how tightly locked the NDAs for MAPPA are compared to other animation companies. One employee even said, I have nothing to lose, so if you're gonna sue me for complaining, I will take it. I don't know why, but for whatever fucking reason, I've read this in decades.
You can tell me every line word for word. For what exactly?
of which, like, I hate to break it, bro, Japanese companies have been abusing their workers since like before electricity was invented. You think they give a fuck about
You think these people care about your work
Some
and your
other
minimum
big news
wage
that MAPPA
and your
obviously
family?
doesn't give a fuck
You can
about
see
is
your
that
family
it
once
came
a
apparent
year.
that
That is
they
enough for
pay
you.
their employees literally minimum wage for all their work. But to make matters even worse, Hakuto Samada, one of the main directors of JJK season 2, he was hospitalized from circumstances created by the working conditions. And then he put out a statement saying it was entirely his fault and MAPPA had nothing to do with this. Like, what in the fucking North Korea is going on? And what made this even worse is that Manabu, that fucking bum, put out a statement.
You mean you watched the JK 5 times, season 2 especially, so that you know it word for word? Are you gonna have to prove that shit to me, bana? Gonna have to prove that shit to me. Kwa sababu nilisema hakuna kuja msema tu vitu hapa hivi kwa comment section zangu. Sasa mmeanza kuja kuisema kwa chat. I mean, I could believe you because I know the entirety of the Toy Story second half in my head. Or I think I used to. Part 1. Reach for the sky. But JJK was peak though.
And saying the reason they work this hard is so they can catch up to Kyoto Animations and UFO Table. This is where this thing goes from stupid to absurd. If you don't know Kyoto Animations, it's the studio behind Asylum Voice, Violet Evergarden,
kama nignore hiyo part. Kuna huyu jamaa alikuwa hospitalized either. Sorry, I apologize for pausing. Sasa huyu jamaa amekuwa hospitalized. Jamaa amekuwa hospitalized. Try you bro. Okay. Huyu jamaa amekuwa hospitalized for work condition. Do you have to know or how exhausted you have to be for you to be an animator that sits at a desk, but the working conditions are so bad that you went to hospital because your body is shutting down out of the work that you're doing. You have to realize kuna watu wanahongana mjengo lakini hiyo mjengo anapiga the whole day aizi enda hospitali. How bad does it have to be for MAPPA Studios to have hospitalized people from their work environment being so bad and so toxic? That's they literally tell you can see your family once a month or a year. You don't need to go home, and I'm paying you minimum wage. Unataka job ama utaki? That's a minimum wage. That is crazy. That even in concept does not make sense to me. How can you be working so hard for so long that to literally get hospitalized? Na kuna watu wamejengwa wanapiganga daily lakini hajai kuingia hospitali. MAPPA Studios needs to be arrested and shut down. No. I need me, my Gojo versus Sukuna fight movie, and then they can be shut down. Wait, I need to see Hell's Paradise conclude. We can arrange something.
And a bunch more. And the second is UFO Table, who are known for Fate and, of course, Demon Slayer. But both of these companies, while being the gold standard, are also known to be companies that treat their employees well and are places animators generally want to work. So why the hell is Anime Stalin trying to turn his army into a bunch of Hakuna?
Anakula ramen na nadhani ramen sini Indomie. Sasa unakula Indomie alafu na work 20 hours a day. Hadi ujue uko serious.
Matata artists, especially when you consider the fact that although the MAPPA employees are being pushed to the absolute brink, the anime at least, they go hard. The bar has been pushed so high by these guys that like what is a moment has been completely redefined. If Rerun takes 2 years to come back and it's just not like the same thing anymore. Chainsaw Man Reze, in my opinion, was just levels above.
I mean, exactly. We need that. I mean, we're gonna need that movie first, and then they can be shut down.
Infinity Castle. And to put in perspective how special what MAPPA did with Chainsaw Man was, like, you need to understand this. We are living in an era that most marketing people call the abundance era of media. Between short form, long form, movies, and sports, there's always something huge happening. So when big things do happen, like a Stranger Things, Marvel movie, or a big game, they kind of just come and go, and after 2 weeks, nobody really thinks about it because they're on to the next thing. Yeah, that didn't fucking happen with the Chainsaw Man movie. It set the bar so high, like, I can't go fucking watch Chitose Ramune in a bottle anymore after watching like that. Like, that does not belong in the same medium as like this. Like, it's just entire, like, both should be good.
It's like this.
But it just doesn't work for me anymore. And what's most disappointing is with the ensemble of like overworked talent, what would they cook if they had more time with these projects?
He keeps showing that guy with the bags under the bag. I mean, that is so bad. That one time nilikulanga mayai ikafuranga uso nikaona kama mtu alikuwa amepigwa ametoka boxing match na Floyd Mayweather. bad. Bags and bags.
is the only thing you could possibly wonder. Honestly, man, though, the reality is they probably would cook the same thing. And if you don't believe me, I'll just let the fucking world's most hated man explain it to you.
How do you think about why your companies are able to move fast?
Aim for a deadline that I at least think is at the 50th percentile. So it's not like an impossible deadline, but it's the most aggressive deadline I can think of. There is like a law of gaseous expansion that applies to schedules. You said we're going to do this something in like 5 years. It will expand to fully available schedule, and it'll take 5 years.
Now, that fact is probably true in situations where you're not getting overworked this bad. At a certain point, it will become impossible for MAPPA to hire anyone because all of their key staff keeps leaving because of this philosophy that you must work people till they're literally dead.
Exactly.
To catch up
Resident
to
Evil was
fucking
absolutely
Kyoto animations. That's the goal, guys. Kyoto animations. Fuck your life. Just work to kill Kyoto animation. Yeah, like, you see where this all feels a bit fucking dumb? But there is a really nice end to our story. Our GOAT, Maso Maruyama, who left MAPPA in 2016, that same year, founded Studio M2. That went on to make
Another
a bunch
one?
of extremely fun and creative projects, with their most successful being Pluto. I know. That's my king. That's my GOAT. Talk your shit. Now, someone else the internet made out to be Hitler
So the literal goat of animation of animations. The literal goat of making anime. It's just hopping through this one M2. It just needs one big beautiful project, and then they become a corporate overload again, paying people minimum wage again, or it just dies. I don't know.
is this LARPer. But in this video are defenders, so check it out and leave a like and please subscribe. Yeah.
Wait, he defends a LARPer? Why are we defending LARPers in the first place? Why are we defending LARPers in the first place? Tulia. Why are we defending LARPers in the first place? Anyway, that's a W movie. MAPPA Studios should be literally closed down after the Gojo vs Sukuna fight.